Buenos dias, podcast world.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our podcast, Turn of the Millennials.
In today's episode, the second episode.
Well, we don't even know what episode orders we're going in anymore, but that's fine.
Anyway.
Today's episode is part 1 of our 3-part series of the Mighty Ducks movies.
Yay,
This is the OG, The Mighty Ducks. And it stars Emilio Estevez, Jonathan Jackson, yep.
Joshua Jackson.
Yep, that was right. That's what I thought, right? I know, my crush, Joshua
She
Jackson.
loved him.
I did love him.
He is not going to
I
forgive
love
you
both
for
of them.
that.
I love both of them, though, at different times.
He's not going to forgive you for that.
I love them at both different
In the
times.
very off chance that he hears this podcast.
Right? Exactly.
Joshua,
We love you.
She
Joshua.
got your name wrong.
It happened. Pacey Witter, I know. How did I forget it? But also, I love him.
I still love you.
I love Jonathan, too, so it was okay. And this one is basically about Emilio Estevez, or Coach, or Gordon Bombay.
Gordon Bombay
is a lawyer who gets a DUI and has to do community service.
Yep.
For coach.
To be a hockey coach for the Pee Wee League of District 5.
In Minnesota.
Minnesota. We could go on about that in a different episode. Yeah,
Actually, I have.
The Drop Dead Gorgeous episode?
Yes, that is another episode.
So Coach Bombay gets a DUI. He has to do community service for to coach a Pee Wee Hockey League of a bunch of misfits and really bad hockey players.
And they end up going toe-to-toe against his Pee Wee hockey team when he was a child, the Hawks, who are the pro-athletic
top Pee Wee team. Because, apparently Pee Wee hockey is super big in the Midwest.
And in Canada. Like, come on now. This is where we are. You should know this. It's just like in Texas where football is big. Canada is just as big. Have you not seen the stories about the crazy hockey fights among parents at Pee Wee hockey games and stuff?
Have.
At practices.
I have. No, I have. I just don't understand the hype. No offense, Pee Wee hockey players. You guys are awesome, but
it's all supposed to be for the love of the game, which this movie is reinforces.
The pressure they put on the kids in these sports is a topic I'd like to discuss, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later. So
coming back to the movie now. Yeah. The first one was actually released October 1992. And it was directed by Stephen Herrick. It had a box office earning of $50 million. And I don't know if this was for the whole movies or just the first one, but basically it was scored like a 23% on the tomato meter or a 65% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Which is a travesty because it's just a beautiful movie.
This is your topic.
We're talking about Mighty Ducks.
Come on down.
I don't know. I just thought we would talk about like some things that like I found like I have a couple of WTFs written in my notes and whatnot. But let's talk about fucking Bombay's DUI. Like the fuck, dude. What is wrong with you? Just
what
did
you
starters.
say? 12 moving violations or something in
the last year, I think it was.
Or was it 7 months or something?
Sure.
But yeah, either way, that's a lot of moving violations in a short amount of time.
And when
I even said, how does your license not taken away?
And I watch movies like this, 1992, which was almost 30 fucking years ago. I see not much has changed. You keep hearing about, like, I don't know, because I watch these movies and I compare, like, the laws and shit, and, like, if anything has really changed, and in that aspect, not really much has changed.
English media class much. What?
Right? Thank you.
Analyze your movies down.
Yeah, thanks.
Miss Jackson. Oh, I had Miss Jackson.
You had I had Miss Cunningham.
Oh, I had Miss Jackson. But anyways.
But yeah, like, to get 12 freaking violations, and then, like, he got off light.
Way light.
Like,
but because
I think
but again, one thing that hasn't changed in our society, and I'm gonna say it, rich white man getting off easy in the court system.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I mean, yes, drinking and driving laws have definitely changed.
Definitely.
Like, for sure, but it doesn't stop the morons that still do it.
But is it different in Canada versus the States? We've stricted them up in Canada, but have they stricted them up in the States? That's a different topic.
No,
we base all of our stuff obviously based off of Canada because that's where we are.
Yeah,
from.
that is where we are. So
if our information is a little different, but we always have to deal with listening to your podcasts and always having information wrong as well. So now you get to feel the solidarity of the Canadians. We're good. On that note.
Yeah. So, okay. So when the scene after he gets like his community service, whatever, and he like drives up onto like the rink or whatever in his limousine, the kids all like climb in and whatever, right? For starters, how the fuck did they get on the roof of that goddamn limo with skates on?
They went on the front and then made their way up top.
But a bunch of them
or
like,
the
climbed
back,
down the back. But still, with skates on. Like, there's no tread on that shit. That stuff would slip right off, I think. Plus, mark up the limo to no shit.
Oh, well, they wouldn't care about that because they're kids. They wouldn't care about marking it up.
However, so kids really changed?
However, a real hockey player lives in skates, so they would know how to do everything in a skate.
I guess that's true.
So,
but then...
That's a moot point.
Yeah. But, like, something that I didn't notice until we were watching it just right now, Steph,
yep.
was when they all climb into the limousine, and,
Goldberg!
No, when the first one, Dave, the character Dave, climbs into the limo, he cuts the phone cord with his blade. I never noticed that. That's another, we'll get to that later, but one more thing in this movie that I never noticed until, like, recently.
Because she's unobservant.
Because apparently, I've always thought of myself as an observant person, but I guess not.
I loved the movie a bit, so I knew a lot of these things. Because I also, again, looked them up and stuff like that.
But yeah, so then, like, they drive out onto the rink. That's a fucking, like, pond.
Yeah, is it really? I know it's supposed to say it's a pond, but does it really look like a pond? I don't think
it doesn't.
It just looks like a rink on a grass.
But it looks like between a pond and a lake. Like, it's... I don't know, whatever. Besides the point, it's supposed to be a lake or pond, whatever.
And Charlie's mom
I remember as a kid being like, oh, Charlie's mom, you suck. You ruined all the fun. Like, you totally overreacted.
Now as an adult?
Now as an adult and now as a step parent, I'm like, wow, I totally agree with her. She didn't overreact at all. It was very irresponsible. Very irresponsible. And then, like, the chauffeur at the end, like, holding up Peter, like, upside down because he took his candies. Yeah. Like, nowadays, my God, he'd get, like, a fucking sex charge on him.
Child abuse.
Yeah, that'd be a child abuse charge at least. Right. Touching someone else's child, like, fucking giving him candy.
Well, I don't know if that's it. It's not like back in our day when, strangers...
I was kidding.
Strangers with candy. No, it wasn't.
Don't get in a van with someone who has puppies. Why not? Don't get in a van with strangers who have puppies.
Don't get into
They just want to kidnap you.
Period.
Don't get...
There's an idea.
Stranger danger, y'all. Stranger danger.
Yeah.
Carry a whistle.
Don't you put it in your mouth.
Don't you put it in your mouth.
That's for another episode. Schoolhouse Rocks. No, Canadian PSAs, I think is what it was. Not Schoolhouse Rocks. I think I've killed her.
Oh my God. But yeah, okay, so I agree with Mom. Anyway,
it's funny going back and watching some of these movies compared to like when we were a kid, we watched them and we were those kids' perspectives. So we're like, yeah, that's so good. Or, oh, the mom is such a buzzkill. And then now watching them again is as adults, we're definitely like, no, they were dangerous. Not buzzkill. That was terrible on whoever's
should
part.
not have done that.
Yes. And that's the funniest part about becoming old.
And here there are memes floating around on Facebook of kids born in the 80s who didn't have to be told, don't try that at home.
Right. Oh,
and we still did.
Well, see, the thing
is not like the Coyote and the Roadrunner stuff, but...
all of our stuff... We all tried it. The problem is nothing was videotaped.
That's
true.
The
main difference.
No evidence.
There's no evidence of us doing all
That's
of our
why I'm glad I grew up when we did.
Exactly.
Because holy shit stuff, the crap that we did as teenagers, if they got any of that out. Your 16th birthday, if someone got that on video, holy shit.
You might have a picture or so from these like events that might be slightly incriminating, but it's not like a video because at least in the picture you can't hear things. So someone could have said something really bad in the picture and it looks okay. But you wouldn't know.
I was so glad no one took a picture of me that night.
I'm not even sure if anyone did.
Oh, fuck, I hope not. If that fucking creeps back up, like, 20 years later.
20 years later?
Like...
yeah, next year it'll be 20 years.
Wow. Oh, 20 years since my first hangover, Steph! Aw.
Hashtag hangover.
Yep. We experienced a lot of stuff together.
We go way back.
Oh my God, yeah.
Hence our podcast, because we just have a funny chemistry, because when you know each other for so long.
That means we've known each other for like 20 years this year, wasn't it?
That was at my 16th birthday, but I knew you since I was like 13, because I was like grade 8 at the trailer. And that
oh my God, like I had known you, I had known you for like 2 years by then.
2 to 3
years. Because I met you when the year I turned 16, because that was the year your parents got the trailer at FP, and that's when the year my parents sold ours.
Summer, I think, going into grade 8 for me, I think is what it was.
It was summer of and 2000 because I was...
No, it's like summer of 98 or something like
99 because I was turning 16 and I turned 17 in 2000.
No, it was 98 because I was going into grade 8. I wasn't going into I was already in high school when I had already known you. I'd already gone into grade 9 and I'd already known you for a bit before that. So I was in grade 8. You would have been grade 10. Going into grade 10, the summer going into grade 10.
You know what? That does make sense because Danielle and I started being friends in the 9th grade because of Michelle Jackson.
Yeah. And summer going into that.
Yeah.
So it would have been the summer between grade 9 and grade 10.
And you know what? I link Michelle Jackson to the reason why I'm with Aaron.
Anyway.
Back to Mighty Ducks.
See,
we get distracted. Okay, so another thing that I only noticed while watching this movie last night, again, as a 37-year-old woman, the first place banners, the blue first place banners hanging along the wall in the Hawks Arena, the black and blue banners, and then there's one yellow one that is their second place flag of the year in 1973 when Gordon Bombay as a kid blew the penalty shot? Yeah. For the win of the state championships?
Just the championship.
The championship. And she knows more about it than I do. And last night watching it, first time I ever noticed the yellow flag was because it was their second place flag. Not really sure how I missed that all these years.
Yeah, I've already given you shit for this because he even says, God, I hate that banner up there. I wish they take it down.
And yeah.
How did you never notice that it said second place on it?
I'm going to stand by my earlier statement and blame it on the fact that just coincidentally, I just happened to be looking away at that exact scene every time I watch it.
Which is probably close to like over 100 times, people. So
hundreds of times.
100 times she happened to look away from the screen at that exact scene.
Maybe because it bored me. Because as a kid, when I was watching movies like this that were directed towards kids, but then they had adults, like scenes with just adults in it, I generally didn't pay attention to them because I always thought they were boring and not important to the story.
But you said you watched it in your 20s, and that has no excuse.
I know. But then I just shut up, okay?
Oh, too funny.
Anyway, so they play their first game against the Hawks, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course. Well, they have to play the first game to show that they, are so crappy and, they're not together. So obviously that by the end when they play the Hawks in the big championship game, they've got to show their adversity. Because that's how Disney does things. They always had to show the good things. There's no bad endings.
They always have to play like their rival, air quotes, team, like the very first game and then the very last game. That's how it always works.
Yeah, really? It
almost
seems like
always
it almost
anyway.
always. Yeah.
But yeah, so I wrote this down in my notes. I don't remember what happens, but Jesse gets mad at McGill for something, and the ref grabbed him, like held him back. Would they be allowed to do that?
If there was a fight.
But there was, like, Jesse took literally, like, one push of his skate, and that was it, and he grabbed him. Like, he wasn't even anywhere close to McGill.
That could have been just a silly, like, thing that they were doing when they tried to, like, filming or something.
I know. I thought that was weird because I didn't think refs would get involved unless there was actual contact, especially like maybe in Pee Wee.
Sometimes they kind of could, and if the guys are like, shit talking, and they'll just like push each
like,
other in the chest. He legit
guys, grabbed him, like bear hug grabbed him. But I don't remember what it was that McGill did.
Interesting. The problem is they're the Hawks. They're always little jerks. So
totally
probably did something wrong.
I forgot they called Charlie Conway Spazway.
Oh yeah.
I heard it and I'm just like, oh my god, I totally forgot that. That's hilarious.
But then it never just like with Goldberg moving to Philadelphia, it never comes up again.
It doesn't. Yeah.
That's the thing. That's one thing I did when I was reading the oral history of the Mighty Ducks. That was a lot of things they said that I was like, it made no sense that he said he was from Philadelphia and then it gets never
or that
mentioned.
He's moving to Philadelphia.
Yeah, and then he never gets mentioned again.
Yeah, and then he doesn't end up moving to Philadelphia because he's still on the second one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like that first game against the Hawks, Bombay, as a grown-up, so shameful that he tries to resort to getting the team to freaking cheat to like get penalty shots and shit. And Charlie, being just awesome Charlie, refuses to do it.
But this movie is also the story about Bombay redeeming himself as well, becoming like, he was a hockey kid. He kind of was, he did it and he was trying to being, did it for the love of the game back then. And then he became this like high-end lawyer, hot shot with an ego, and then this kind of brought him down to a peg and had to bring him back to being a nice guy again.
Bring him back down to earth.
Bring him back down to earth, yeah.
But you know what? Like, as a kid, I think like that scene where Bombay gets mad at Charlie for not taking the fall or whatever, and made me realize, like, I think I was probably like maybe 11 when I realized this, that adults suck. Like, not all grown-ups were like
Good.
And like, I don't know, as a child it's a little bit heartbreaking.
Well, and we were also in another generation where we were taught to respect our elders no matter what. No matter what. And now in these younger generations, they're not necessarily taught that as much.
No, they are not.
So
not all.
But there are a lot of kids that are not taught to respect their elders at all,
or manners in general.
Certain elders, like if it's a grandparent they're allowed to respect, or someone over a certain age. But we were just taught anyone that is like, even if it's like an 18-year-old, because to us they seemed like they were an adult,
how to consort themselves in public. But
Different
I love that Charlie stood up and like it showed that you know something's wrong. Like adults don't be afraid to stand up to an adult.
Sometimes they're not always right,
which I liked about that scene. I'm sorry, like
they're looking for your best interest, but they're not always right. What you liked about
I
that
lost
scene?
my train of thought. I was gonna say something and I forgot. I know. But then like Jesse and Terry's dad barges in too and is all like, I missed work to watch my kids cheat or take falls or whatever, blah blah blah, like pulls them out of the locker room.
And then they come back anyway.
You go, Jesse and Terry's dad. Because that's what I would have done. Like, you're not teaching my kid to fucking cheat. Sorry. Just not.
Played dirty.
Yeah. And then, sorry, this kind of like skips like a huge section of the movie because I didn't really have any notes in between it. But when he's actually like teaching them like back to basics of like hockey, whatever. They tie Goldberg to the goalpost.
And then they leave him there.
What would happen if like one of the parents decided like, I'm going to drop in on my kid on practice, see how they're doing. And they walk in on that? What would the reaction been then, and how would it have been now? Now,
in the 90s, it's totally different. They would have been like, that's
then
funny.
I think we would have laughed hysterically. Now it would have been on social media, and the coach would have been fired,
and the parent would have been up in the coach's face, being, "Why did you?"
They'd sue the Pee Wee League.
Yeah,
like, oh my god, like.
But again, it is funny. A movie, so everything is also over
embellished.
Yeah,
exactly. Absolutely. Like,
and I love, he gets stuck in there.
But
he's like, guys, come
Goldberg,
back.
Goldberg learned to not be afraid of the pucks, so it worked. And he like got right into it. He was all like, rah! And he even skated off the rink himself after they left him alone and turned the lights off. I don't think they actually turned the lights off. I just kind of added that part in, or did they? I don't remember.
I don't think it turns off.
Yeah,
I know he's like, guys, come on, guys, this isn't funny anymore.
But yeah. Oh, sorry.
And
I'm working on like 2 hours of sleep here, people. I
also
apologize.
feel a little bad for Banksy throughout all
oh
of
my
them.
God,
all
the
of the
whole
series.
time.
Not even just this movie, all of the series.
Yes.
The poor guy, but this one specifically,
especially
like
the third one. Like he gets like a
we'll talk about that in the
third
31. We'll talk about the third one, but we'll keep on to this one. But again, this one again is the same thing.
This one he gets plucked from his team that he's
still
been
a
with.
Shitty
like,
team. It's shitty.
Yeah,
shitty thing because he's friends that he's grown up with and played hockey with forever.
Yep.
And then just because Bombay wants a good player on his team instead of fostering the kids on his team and making them better, he needed to have that one good kid to make it seem like it was okay, and then change the boundaries were already changed, but forcing him to go back to the wrong team, going to the right team, and losing his friends. And then the Hawks after that hated him. Like, how is that fair?
Yeah, like this kid is being forced to leave his longtime team and all of his friends to join another team that clearly doesn't want him. None of this is within his control. And like my heart just breaks for him.
Right. And
every time
he loses his friends too.
Every time he's left there, like after they all leave him in the locker room that first game, and Bombay is like suit up and we'll see you on the rink, and he leaves and you see him alone in the locker room, and my heart breaks for him.
We're not gonna play with the cake eater
like that, which by the way is old slang for people who are so rich they can have their cake and eat it too.
I did not know that.
I looked it up.
I never understood why he said cake eater, but that's
actually in the IMDb trivia.
Oh, all right then. It's good to know.
Which sometimes I live on.
I agree. IMDb trivia is so much fun.
So informational.
So much fun.
But yeah, like I just my heart breaks from every time I watch one of these movies, just because he gets dealt a shit fucking hand.
Every time. Yeah. And the poor kid just still goes through with it and still loves, because he loves hockey.
Yes,
He
just
doesn't
wants
care.
to play hockey.
Yep.
Like, if he didn't care about
The first,
hockey,
the second,
whatever.
the third, he didn't care. He just still wanted to play hockey.
But I do love that all it took for the team to accept him was getting fucking concussed by his other team. Like minutes before that happened, and he was on the stretcher, and him and Jesse had that moment, and like they were still mad at each other. Like, they still hated each other. It's just like, oh, you took a concussion first. Well, actually, he was forced to for one.
Right.
Like, whatever. But maybe it was because the first thing he asked was, did it go in? The puck. The puck. Sorry. Got her brain.
Yes, Lindy got it.
But yeah, so, like, the fact that he cared more about the goal and whatever, right? But he just gets handed a shit hand. Like, every fucking movie.
Poor
Why?
I don't know. It's like Disney needed a scapegoat in the movie or something like that. I don't know. Poor guys.
Maybe they just needed someone to feel bad for.
Nah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Because Disney likes to pull out those heartstrings as well. Love you, Disney, but, you know, you do that sometimes.
I cry the most to your movies. How dare you for Fox and the Hound? I'm still mad at you for that one.
Yep. Toy Story, all of them.
Yeah, all those.
Yeah, all those.
So yeah, so after Gordon comes across Fulton in the alley and sees his slap shot and whatnot and realizes he can't skate, he takes the entire team rollerblading through the mall.
Well, he takes them rollerblading and then they happen to go through the mall.
But through the mall. Like, how fun would that be?
Oh, it would not be
oh
allowed.
my god. Like,
because it's a movie, it was allowed, but realistically in any mall, the security would have gotten to you.
Even
and they
then?
would have, yeah.
really?
Oh, yeah.
That's upsetting, because I totally thought that was like a true thing about the States.
You wouldn't have been able to do
That's disappointing.
You're causing a ruckus.
Oh
and
my
a
god, my
nuisance
childhood
through the
dream is
thing.
crushed.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to rollerblade through a mall.
Trust me, there's a lot of... Oh,
Yeah.
actually,
But
my...
safety alone going down the stairs.
No. My childhood dream was crushed when my partner, who is a hunter, told me that ducks don't actually fly in a V.
They do, just one's longer than the other. It's never symmetrical.
Kevin? What
Would they
birds
fly
in
in
a
an
V?
arrowhead or something?
Do ducks fly in a V?
Geese fly in a V.
Yeah. So why is the flying V and the ducks?
That's a thoughtful question.
And
I was told some
do you know what?
ducks fly in a V, but I've never seen any ducks fly in a V.
And he is a hunter. This is
Yeah.
the partner back
Yeah.
here, so we're getting some fact verification as well.
Yeah. But
But this shattered my childhood when I met him 3.5 years ago, and he told me this.
What ducks have you ever seen that fly in a V? There is no flying V for ducks. It's a cluster
Wow.
of ducks. They just fly.
See,
that's a mind fuck right there.
shattered your childhood
Oh
a
my
little
God.
bit.
But even Riley, my stepdaughter, she even said that the team should be geese. She's like, they should be mighty geese.
Right?
Because they're mean and they're vicious and like...
Which is also true about the team of the Ducks that won the 2006 Cup. They were vicious that year, and they won. Anyways,
Yeah.
my favorite team, obviously because of this movie in the NHL, is the Ducks.
Well, like, but like she said that because we were watching it and the scene that came up that when he like has to explain to them like why the ducks are awesome or whatever, and they were like, oh, that's such a stupid animal, and she's like, yeah, it is. It should have been a geese.
It's true. Canadian geese are little
they
fuckers.
are vicious. I'd rather take on a moose. Like, maybe not, but because holy fuck, those are huge.
Yes.
But never actually seen one except in a zoo or something, which I no longer frequent because I think they're cruel and mean.
But there's one outside Moose Winooski's. It's a fake one, but there's the one outside Moose Winooski's that shows you.
I'll
how
take
big
that
it
one
is,
on.
Right? Can we please get a video of this? We'll post
Yeah.
it to our socials.
Yeah, so like moving on. So the next one of the next scenes is when they're playing the Cardinals. It's like their second game or whatever.
Okay.
And before the game, Fulton is practicing his slap shots. He's just got like a huge thing of pucks and just slap, 1 in 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching this and they're showing scenes of like the other team watching it. And I'm like, he's kind of just showing the other team his like scoring stats,
Right.
how he does, the scoring ratio. I'm like, that's not something that I would want them to know. I would think. I don't know, but
Realistically, if they eventually, once they play
Yeah.
them, they would see it or whatever. If they watched the Hawks games or whatever, they might have seen those
Yeah.
previously.
yeah.
But the Flying V, actually, there was a few years ago, they actually had... The Flying V is actually not allowed in hockey And they actually tried it out
Why?
one time. It's just not allowed. It's not actually a thing that it's allowed. I can't remember why.
Okay.
But there's videos of them trying to do it as well in like hockey games and stuff like that. And sometimes it just fails epically. But a few people have like Pee-wees or different other like real life hockey teams have given it a try. I'll show you some videos sometimes. It's pretty funny.
I don't know. Every time I see the flying V for the first time in the first movie, like every time I watch it, like I get chills. I love it. I just love it. I love it. I'm just like, oh, they're coming together as a team. They're doing the flying V. Just like, yay. Flying V. But yeah, so after that game, was it, because they had already gotten their Ducks uniforms and everything and all of their equipment. But I think in the next scene, the team finds out that Bombay was a hawk when he was a kid because of the article that was in Hans's workshop where they got all their equipment from.
Yep.
And so he decided to quit the team because he can't have a team that doesn't trust him, right? And so he goes to see Charlie in the diner where his mom works. When you were talking earlier about how they were going to cut the character Charlie from the second movie because his character wasn't big enough or anything like that.
Technically, we didn't talk about that in this one yet, but it was in the one we did the other. But okay, yep.
Okay, anyway, so Steph mentioned, just a tidbit for the next episode, that they were going to cut the Charlie Conway character because it wasn't big enough, or
there was a bunch of kids that were not asked to come back for the second episode because their personality was not big enough, or they were not funny enough. Yeah,
but that scene in the diner where Charlie convinces Bombay to come back to coaching, and like his like he cries and stuff, he should have won a fucking Oscar. Like, I'm sorry, but that's depth. Like that was like.
Maybe
I cried.
That is actually part of the reason why Joshua Jackson was cast in Bobby, because of Emilio Estevez was actually the director of that movie, and because of his history of working with Joshua Jackson from the Mighty Ducks movies, he actually casted him in Bobby.
In what?
Bobby, the one about JFK.
I don't think I've seen that, but I can look it up on my phone. But yeah, no, I don't think I've seen that one. But yeah, no, I like that was definitely haven't seen that. But that was such an emotional scene. It was so good. Like, it was just so great. And he convinces him, right? And then...
Yeah, it's mostly about, Bobby.
So then, because Charlie was the only one that showed up to that one game before Bombay decided to quit.
He wasn't the only one. Fulton did as well.
Fulton showed up too, sorry.
And I think there was 3 of them. Was it just the 2 or the 3 of them? I know for sure it was Fulton and Charlie.
2 of them, maybe.
Might have been just the 2 of them, though.
And, so then they get in a fight in school, in class.
And then they have to write lines.
And then they all have detention. They all have to write lines, which I noticed but 2 of them write in cursive, which just doesn't fucking exist anymore. Teenagers can't even read it. I know that because I worked with them, and they're like, I don't know what you wrote. I can't understand that. I'm like, it's fucking cursive. Seriously.
Well, then that means all of us adults... Yes. All of us adults are going to be able to write in code languages. Yep.
Sweet. And we'll be able to tell time, too, on like those... on like the
analog
hands,
clocks?
on analog clocks, because they're no longer apparently teaching that either. Not even a topic we're going to get into, because I could talk about that for a while. But yeah, so like they get in one fight and they're in the freaking detention, and then Bombay comes to the school to try to like,
I will not quack in class.
Yeah, I will not quack at the principal. And he talks to them and has this like whole uplifting like speech, whatever, blah blah blah. And by the end of it, he's like, did you really quack the principal? And they all start laughing and blah, 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 and they're all friends again after one fight where they didn't even work out their differences. Kids.
See, here's the thing. You're coming at it from a woman's perspective.
There are 2 girls on that team.
I know, but in most cases, in general, in lots in life, men can, grown men a lot of times, will either get into like a severe fist fight and then go out for beers afterwards. They're not like ladies who hold grudges. Most ladies who hold grudges for a long time.
Yeah, that's true. Man, bitches can hold fucking grudges.
Bitches be crazy.
Bitches be crazy. Cray cray.
We still love our gender. Don't worry.
Yeah.
And all of us who identify, I guess.
Yeah.
You know.
So we talked about how Banks gets moved to the Ducks team. And obviously his dad and the coach of the Hawks are not happy about this, right? So they go to Ducksworth, who is Bombay's boss. And the reason Bombay is in this situation of community service is because it was Ducksworth's one stipulation
for him to come back to work. Take the time off, make him a better lawyer,
make him a better person, stop looking for loopholes and fight fair and blah 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 blah. Wants him to
not follow rules.
Wants him to concede or like. I should have written down the details what it was, but because all I have is wanted him to learn fairness and not loopholes, and then tries to pull that shit on him with the Hawks coach and Adam's dad.
Yeah.
Like, I forget what it was. It was Banks comes back to the Hawks, and then next year they redraw the district lines.
Redraft the lines to the way they were before.
And then Bombay has to step down as coach. And Bombay gives them a big fuck you, basically.
You didn't earn this. Quack, 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 Mr. Ducksworth.
Good for him. Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't know earn this jersey.
Quack, 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 Mr. Ducksworth.
Quack, quack, quack.
It has been, 25 years? 26 years. Last year was 25 years, I believe.
Well, if it came out in 92, the 30th is going to be in 2022.
No, it was the team. So the team had their 25th anniversary because they had festivities and stuff like that, because it was the team's 25th anniversary last year.
The NHL team?
Yes.
Gotcha.
The NHL team.
All right. I thought you were talking about the movie.
No, and I was thinking about that too. And I was like, but I was wondering, because actually when they had the 25th anniversary for the team last year, a lot of the original cast members actually came for a game and did dropping the pucks and stuff like that. Cool. And there's actually, I don't know, you probably haven't seen it because you don't. Russ Tyler does Do You Knuckle Puck?
That's cool. I'll watch that later.
And he's wearing his old Ducks jersey and stuff like that. And
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so they brought a lot of them back for the 25th anniversary, which was kind of
awesome,
nice.
Keenan. Yeah, but just back to that one scene where Bombay is in the class, he walks into the classroom and he goes, "Hey guys," and Tammy goes, "People." Like Tammy and Connie are like, I love that they have two females in 1992 as teenagers trying to not gender neutral stuff, but like equality. Female equality kind of thing in that, where it's like after the detention scene and whatnot, they have a game. I don't remember which team that they're playing, but it's the game where Fulton slap shots through like a puck through the net.
Yep.
So I was like, I wonder how fast that would have to be in order to do that.
So you Googled it?
I did. I couldn't really find any definitive evidence on like how fast it would have to go to break the net. But Shea Weber put a puck through the net, like through one hole of the net without breaking it, like covered it black with the puck stuff, but like went through the hole, that it didn't break, and it was one of his fastest slap shots recorded at 100.4 miles per hour is how miles per hour. So I'm not really sure what it is in kilometers. I should have checked that. Sorry, Canadians. 1 second, I do have other facts. Shea Weber's fastest recorded slap shot was at the 2020 Enterprise NHL hardest shot, and he clocked at 106.9 miles per hour and 105.9 miles per hour.
Wow.
And then the fastest puck on record is held by Martin Fork of an AHL forward at 109.2 miles per hour, which is 175.7 kilometers an hour. Okay, and that was at a 2020 AHL All-Star game in Ontario, California.
Alrighty then.
Yeah,
that's pretty fast.
Like, isn't it? Like 175 kilometers an hour.
Right?
I've only
driven that.
Peaked like 150s. Like, I'm pretty sure my governor gives out at 170.
I was gonna say, I think reached like 170 like maybe once.
Like
that was when I was driving to Quebec
City. It's literally illegal to drive over 170 in Canada. Because that's, well, maybe not. Maybe all governors are different on different cars.
Well, let's be real. Like, the speed limit in Ontario is only 100. So legally in Ontario, it's,
I know, but I meant physically. I didn't mean legally. I just meant like physically. Like, how fast can your car go is what I meant.
Oh, well, there's a difference between a governor and that, because you could take it out and then your car still goes faster. So not legal. It's not a legal entity.
That's fair to say. Anyway. One thing I noticed that I loved, that I forgot to mention, is that the newspaper transitions. I love that's how they transition scenes. Is with like newspaper headlines. Yeah. I think that's awesome. Yeah, I just like, that's so cool. Oh, it's so 90s though.
Starway transition.
And then after, and so this was like during the musical montage where they win like game after game after game or whatever. And after their win versus the Cardinals, right before the Hawks showdown, they celebrated in the locker room by like spraying Coke on each other, like athletes would do, like champagne or beer or whatever. And I'm literally sitting there watching, and as a parent, I'm just like, oh my God, it is going to be a pain in the butt to get that pop out of a jersey.
This is a video of ducks flying.
Yeah, that is not a V. Definitely not a V. Not even resembles.
But they do
a
fly
letter.
together.
Yes, they do.
Because they do
cloudy
say
weather, apparently,
ducks
too.
fly together
Woo-hoo.
and ducks fly together, but they don't fly in a V.
But they don't fly in a V. Sorry to crush your childhood souls.
Trust me, it crushed my childhood. Oh, so hard when he told me that.
But yeah, I was just like, I wrote down, I'm like, ew, sticky.
Yeah, gross. Sticky.
Like nasty. Ew, gross. Ooh, now we got to the part where I wanted to talk about the amount of pressure that's put on these kid athletes.
All right, go ahead.
It's still fucking ridiculous. It's a game, parents. A game.
But they're hoping that they're going to be in the NHL and make them lots of money.
And that's all fine and dandy, but you ensure that they do that by not as severe as, but you pull a Dan Scott. You make them practice and practice and practice and practice and practice.
That's Dan Scott from One Tree Hill.
Yes, from One Tree Hill. The terrible father that ends up redeeming himself, and I cry when he dies.
Yeah.
Sorry, spoiler. And
if you haven't seen it by now,
well. But yeah, like, I can't understand, like, I'm sorry, what in your fucking right mind gives you the right to put that amount of pressure on a kid to play a goddamn game where you put a stick in their hands and tell them to shoot a fucking rubber plastic disc across the freaking rink? Like, are you kidding me? Or any sport that a kid plays.
Okay, thank you.
Sport.
Any sport.
Sorry, I was like, why are you looking at me like that?
Because Lindy is a very big football fan, and when it comes to the South, football is just as bad.
Yes. But I mean,
pushing their kids as
it
hockey.
can be in any sport that a kid is playing. Be soccer,
Pee-wee
figure
sports.
skating, like anything that your child is in. Dance,
cheerleading,
musical recitals.
Oh, some of them with the musicians.
Like that.
Yeah.
Like the amount of pressure that's put on. Plus, they're expected to pull like a perfect GPA at school too. Well, they don't even like the amount of homework they. Well, not right now because it's pandemic or whatever. Right now they can
trying to prepare them for life, I guess, and in these high pressured positions. I'm not sure. My parents weren't executives in any way, shape, or form, so I have no idea what the preparation for that is.
Why can't they just be like, kids, do your best because life's gonna fucking screw you anyway? Just saying. I know that's a bad attitude to have.
Doesn't screw everybody.
Not everybody. It didn't necessarily screw me either. I'm extremely happy with where I am.
I feel like it's all based on the way the choices that we make.
But something I did notice about their montage.
Yep.
Is that their fan base grows increasingly. And I'm like, there's like 9 kids on this team. So all these other grown-ups just happen to be uber fans to the point of buying jerseys and flags and foam fingers.
But they're friends of like the parents, or maybe they're like the aunts and the uncles and the family friends and stuff like that.
I mean, that's true.
But so, like, they know, like, our kids are on they're on a really underdog team. Can you come and help support my kids and stuff? And then,
Maybe I just really don't grasp the concept of how big Pee-wee hockey is in the Midwest. Same with, like, I don't get, but I do understand, like, the football in the South.
It's not just in the Midwest. You go to any small town in Ontario and you're going to have the same hockey, snow bunnies, and
Southern Ontario is basically the
bunnies.
Midwest.
No, we are not the Midwest.
I knew that was going to make you mad.
We are most definitely not the Midwest.
It's fun to make Steffi mad sometimes. But no, in all seriousness, yeah, like anywhere in any city in any country in the world, kids playing recreational sports gets pretty fucking
Pee-wee sports.
Yeah.
Recreational sports is different.
Or sorry, yeah, Pee-wee sports is what I mean. Like league sports. Isn't it?
Athletic,
whatever.
Varsities.
Clubs and stuff.
Amateur.
But high performance athletes.
Yeah.
That's it.
But
amateur athletes.
Or high performance or amateur athletes.
But I mean, it's got to be absolutely easy to skate on ice that has a clearly perfect mirror reflection at drop every time. Did you notice that?
I know. I really almost feel like they just drop it on a mirror every time. Every time I watch it, I'm like, the ice does not look like that.
It doesn't match your close-up. Major error, guys. Major error.
Yeah.
But I know what they were going for. Yeah. I mean, the effect was really cool.
But you can tell it's not real ice.
Yeah. You could, no, it wasn't. I don't think so.
I've never been on ice that ever looked like that. Ever.
Yeah. Anyway, so, reflection of ice thing, that was in their final game against the Hawks. Final showdown. And they're getting I think they just tied it at 2-2, I believe. I think. If I'm correct. And
I did not get to finish the movie before this.
Yeah, that's true. And so the coach of the Hawks tells Adams, former 2 friends, like, on the team to take Adam out.
Yep.
He's encouraging violence against friends and, like, children. And I just
violence
as an adult watching this, I'm just like, I can separate that. Like, I can separate and still enjoy it as a movie. Like, I totally, whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, just in my thought process watching it last night, I was just like, oh my God, you are the worst fucking goddamn adult ever. Like, what is the matter with you?
Mm-hmm.
You are seriously how old? You have been coaching for, 30, 40 years? This is your life? Like, awesome that you have a passion and whatever, but you should be using this to encourage the kids to be positive and stop making them be bullies. Like, it makes me mad. Like, I do. It just makes me so mad because I don't even know how to explain it.
But then they come out on top, so really it doesn't matter. Yeah, you can get... Here's the other thing, children. Even though you get bullied, keep going, and you can still come out on top and prove your worth to the bullies. Don't let them get to you ever, because they're just insecure about themselves, and that's why they're bullying you.
Yeah, for most part. Some of them just like to be mean girls, and those mean girls can fucking get fucked. Because a lot of the mean girls... When we were in school, where are they now?
I don't even know.
I know a few of them, and
I didn't even
their
bother.
lives did not turn out how they expected it to be. Like, karma comes around, guys. Karma comes around. Just don't give up on yourself. Believe in yourself. Don't give a shit about no one. Yep. You do you.
You do you, boo.
Yeah. Anyway, so, but one thing, when they fucking trip Banks or whatever, and he, like, slides on the ice and smashes into the goalpost and it gets knocked unconscious or whatever. He laid there for like a minute and a half before anybody noticed he wasn't moving.
Right.
Like, and what's funny is the first person that noticed was his friend that didn't want to do it, was the first one to notice and was the first one to skate up to him and see if he was okay, and which he was not. Clearly. And when he turns around, he's like, "What'd you do?" And the other kid was like, "My job." Like, that just shows you how much of an influence these type of authority figures in your kids' lives have on them. Like,
especially like your
and
hockey
he said
coach
it's so evil, like just my job. Like, you're fucking 12. Like, come
you don't
on.
Have a job. Your job is to be a kid and have fun.
Like,
play hockey for fun.
Yeah. Oh my God. That just shows a massive difference between the Hawks, which I never remember the Hawks coach's name, and Bombay's coaching styles. Like, when Bombay stops by...
Hans, that's why.
When Bombay stops by the box, where the Hawks are sitting, I forget what it's called. What is that called?
The box. The bench?
The bench, yeah, I guess, whatever. And Coach Riley, that's what it was.
Oh, yes.
And Riley's all like, "Yo, what do you want?" And Bombay's like, "And to think, I used to care what you thought."
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I think that right there just shows the character growth of Bombay.
Yep.
Because I'm sorry, if it were me, I would have said some very choice words that would not have been rated PG-13 or PG.
Well, yeah, even throughout the, like, definitely towards the second and the third one, his character develops into definitely a more, like, you know, calmer character. But
yeah, more grown up.
Definitely more grown up. Yeah. They grew him up because he was a young hotshot lawyer. Like, you know, lawyers at that age probably make lots of money and don't know what to do with it. So of course you're going to be a stupid drunk hotshot.
Yeah,
makes sense.
So then
knock him down a few pegs.
One of the scenes that I really like is like the next scene where Bombay gets Tammy, the figure skater, and her brother to like set up a shot where she figure skates in a circle with her stick sticking out, which I don't think that would be legal,
right?
And like she stops, her brother gets her the puck and she goes in and scores, whatever, blah blah.
But they
I'm
also
just like,
do it in the second one too. Do
they not notice that she changed her skates to figure skates, and is that allowed? That's not something that I could find. If figure skates were allowed, if they would have been disqualified for that, if that goal would have been counted because she wasn't in the right skates.
I don't think it would. I just think the fact that figure skates have a toe pick make it harder for you to move on the ice the way the hockey players need to move.
But the toe pick is like a lot for pushing off.
Mm-hmm.
So wouldn't it be a benefit?
It's not necessarily a lot for pushing off either.
Well, it's not just for pushing off, but it does definitely help.
Because you got to remember, the hockey players have a rounded front because they're doing a lot on the toes and trying to skate fast. Yeah,
that's true.
Whereas
I don't know. I just thought of that. I was just like, would figure skates even be allowed in a Pee Wee hockey game? That's just what I thought.
I don't think they would.
If any of you have an answer for that, let me know.
I wouldn't think that they would not, but it definitely probably is harder to skate in figure skates than hockey skates.
Yeah. And then after this, after she scores the goal, the bell rings, or not the bell, but the buzzer goes off, whatever. And McGill of the Hawks team, the one that hit Adam and concussed him, checks Tammy after they're not even in play. Yeah. Would he not have gotten unsportsmanlike conduct for
penalty
that?
or something?
Like a penalty or something? Like he checked her like when they weren't even playing. So I
believe in the second one that happens.
So
after.
nothing
someone
happens.
Someone gets it after and gets penalty.
Nothing happens to McGill for checking Tammy out of play, but Fulton gets mad and goes and just flips him over the bench. You know, no harm, no foul. He was wearing a helmet. It's fine. And gets fucking kicked out of the game. But McGill gets nothing. Fucking privileged white boys.
Well, not necessarily. Which could also bring us to another topic of, are the referees paid by coaches, and is it fair gaming?
Oh, that's true.
Just saying. Just putting it out there. But anyways, that's a different topic.
That's very true.
It's a different topic. Yeah. We're not going to go that far in depth because this is the Ducks. We're going to have fun and lighthearted. Yeah. But yes.
My next note, flying V always gives me chills. What were you talking about? Or was that recorded?
I think it was.
I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, but yeah, every time I see the first flying V, it gives me chills. I love it. Just so exciting. And I love that the Hawks lost the game because of their own cheating. If he never hooked Charlie at the end, there was a good chance Charlie wouldn't have scored that goal. And
well, he wouldn't have had the penalty shots.
But that's what I mean, though.
And he wouldn't have scored it. Yeah, exactly.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So, like, they're cheating by, like, hooking Charlie. Like, he gets a penalty shot right as the time runs out. Like,
it was to their very
Riley, you're a fucking moron.
Yeah.
Like, why would you risk that, you dumbass?
Yeah.
Just whatever. So then, like, they win the game, and all hurrah, hurrah. And then my next note is in big capital letters, Queen, because I fucking love Queen, and I love that they're in this movie.
Well, they're not in it. The song is in it.
The song, whatever.
Jeez, woman.
Whatevs.
This is one where isn't it? This is the one where they're sitting there. No, it's the second one where they're doing the
campfire. Yeah.
Okay, that one's my favorite. That one is hilarious.
I think D2 is my favorite too, but I don't know.
I agree. D2 is probably my favoriteest. But D3 had a special place in my heart because that was when I was truly in love with Joshua Jackson.
You got his name right. Yay!
I did. I got to write this down. Don't worry. We're good.
I love number 2.
Because he was all angsty. And I was in grade 6 and it was just like, that was like my teen years, going into my teen years, I should say, sorry.
I love number 2. Not just because I find it's the best of the 3, like storyline wise and whatever. But because Airlor's in it, obviously.
Yeah.
And he, gets a penalty and he strips down to his padding and, hey, he's 18. He is 18, okay? In the movie, anyway, he's 18, which he is older than me in real life. And, yeah, just, yummy. But then, like, he's not even in half of the fucking third one. Because he shows up
when
later.
He comes in,
he shows up for, like, the last fucking game.
Moment.
Like, right at the right moment. Dean Portman saves the day. Awesome that he's in it, but, dude.
He saves the day. You should be happy about that.
I know. Jeez. I am. But I just wanted to see more of him. That was all.
I know, but you got to see him in Rent. So it's fine.
Yeah, that's true. But he wasn't really in that very much either. Just a few scenes. But yeah, so, that's our discussion, I guess, on Mighty Ducks.
The Mighty Ducks.
The first Mighty Ducks of 3 of them. I'm hoping Steph will watch D2 before we do our next podcast about that.
It's Christmas holidays, so I am off
Christmas
now.
Eve right now.
I am definitely going to watch.
Of the year of the pandemic. Good old 2020.
Yay.
I really hope everybody shouts Jumanji on New Year's.
I was saying that at the gym today. I was telling them, I'm like, we're not allowed to shout Happy New Year's. We have to shout Jumanji.
I was told that a couple of times at work today as well.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, I know. If I'm up at midnight, which I probably won't be, I will definitely yell Jumanji.
Usually we're up at midnight, but I don't know this year because there's no
I might make
parties
it this year.
Or festivities we're allowed to do. So.
I might make it to midnight this year just because of like my sleep habits changed because of the new job. But I'm hoping I can stay till midnight. Great.
And on that note, hope you enjoyed our podcast, and we will have part 2, D2, the Mighty Ducks, for you coming up
soon. Soonish. After the holidays.
Although they could be listening to this whenever.
They could be listening to this months from now.
And they probably will because we probably won't post it till after the holidays. But that's fine. It's okay.
If you're listening, we hope you had a Merry Christmas and were safe.
And a Happy New Year.
Everything like that.
Or Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, whatever.
Happy any one of those 14 holidays in December.
Holiday.
Yeah, but all right.
On to next episode.
All right. Later, podcast world.
Peace out.